Hey everybody, this is Kritek, and if you notice, I changed my name, so I'm now going by the Authentic Empress. That is going to be the title of my YouTube channel. And what I'm going to talk about today, and yes, I know it's been months, your girl just got a degree, so that's what I've been doing, but I'm back. And if you notice, you'll see the purple in the background. Actually, the entire room is purple. I'm not gonna say where I'm at, but I'm definitely in a different space. I'm in Charleston, South Carolina. Very historic place, especially for indigenous and black peoples. But anyway, I don't want to babble like I've done in previous videos. You know, you live and you learn and you correct yourself. With that being said, what I intended to speak about on this video is something that's very important, especially now with this great conjunction and Saturn and Jupiter conjuncting in Aquarius. Yes, so we're moving out of earth elements. I'm just gonna breeze over what we should know by now. We're moving out of the earth elements and now moving into the air elements beginning in Aquarius, what some people are calling the age of Aquarius. With that being said, we know Aquarius energy, Gemini energy, and Libra energy focuses a lot on psychological, mental, verbal expression, that type of energy. Crown chakra, third eye, throat chakra. With that being said, and solar plexus as well. But anyway, with that being said, one of the biggest things, I feel like the chakra that's most attacked, especially now with the divine collective, is the crown chakra. Of course, they've been attacking the third eye from the beginning of time, just about, but the crown chakra right now. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to start off by reading this little snippet that I wrote, and we're going to go from there. I've got a violet candle lit at this time. I had my singing bowl. I blessed this place in this room for crown chakra enhancement, because I especially need it for myself. I'm coming out of, this is a grand time. And, it's time for me to like fully bask and reap, my good karma. You know what I'm saying? But there was some attacks along the way, like, and they were pretty heavy attacks. But at the same time, necessary, because it's like the lessons that I needed to learn pertaining to my relations and engagements with other energies and other people were finalized. It's like, boom, that's it, period. I don't need to repeat it. I can literally spot, what it is that I'm supposed to spot instantly. And, that's the beauty if you utilize these energies and you were in alignment with astrological transits. With that being said, we know that there's a group of individuals who are not. There's going to be an opposing side. You have good versus evil. You have the divine versus low vibrational, karmic. So let me get into reading this snippet because I'm babbling. I'm a black goddess. So many of our people either drink alcohol, smoke weed, or are dependent upon some form of medication. There are some black people who don't ingest any drugs, yet are attached to some form of distraction, and that is the basis and identical factor that affects most people. Distractions. The purpose of using substances is to distract oneself from their current reality. There are various misconceptions regarding the effects of cannabis and other psychedelic drugs on individuals, particularly black people. Why is cannabis use so popular and prevalent is the question one should ask him or herself. How often do we find ourselves reflecting on an individual who overindulged in cannabis use and we're highly spiritually advanced. It is said that many of us are born with cannabis receptors, suggesting that we are expecting by design to create the chemical internally and that we are not supposed to ingest it externally. The concept is similar to a diabetic on artificial insulin. The body creates its own insulin. Thus, continued use of artificial insulin will eventually exhaust the body's natural insulin supply. So you guys see where I'm going with this. One who has indulged in cannabis use via smoking. Oh, let me back up. I'm a black goddess. One who has indulged in cannabis use via smoking. Initially, I was repulsed by the concept, the act of smoking, anything, and defined it as disgusting and manly. I was also a teenager in high school at the time. As I reflect on that time, I realized female classmates who started much sooner than I, who smoked at a time when I thought I would never do so. And the reason why I mention that is because some of those same female classmates, if you were to look at my life and either one of theirs, you would see a very profound difference. With this great conjunction, tares are being separated from the wheat, and it's like it's finalizing, you know, because it's a whole new time. And the thing is, a lot of people have been neglecting their intellectual, psychological, emotional energy, their mental energy. A lot of people have been overindulging in distractions, pleasure-seeking behaviors, toxic, limiting behaviors that just debilitates them and slows down their progress to advancing within their spiritual selves, their spiritual existence. We've been raised in a religion that's, you know, had these repeated phrases such as, we are spiritual beings living a natural experience. And this is true because, mind you, even though religion has confused and mixed and added and subtracted so many ideologies and truths and lies and, you know, all of these things to control the collective, there's still truth in there. With that being said, those are one of those truths. Yes, we are spiritual beings having a natural experience. But too often, we find a lot of the people around us live as if they are a natural being having a spiritual experience. And what I mean by that is that we neglect the spiritual body. And we get so lost in what we can see with our physical eyes. And even with that, we don't take care of it as we should. Why? Because it's you can't have one without the other. It's impossible. We're interconnected. Your body, and as a soul being, you're expected to be interconnected with all of your bodies, your emotional body, your etheric body, your mental, all of that is supposed to be interconnected. And when it's not, there's going to be some faulty and at some aspect of one of those bodies. With that being said, how can you physically be healthy if you neglect your spiritual body? How can you spiritually be healthy if you neglect your emotional body? It's inevitable. If you neglect one, or if there's debilitation or fragmentation, or you're disfragmented in one, you're going to be, you know, affected in another. I mentioned that I am one who has engaged in cannabis use. Now I'm going to speak on this, and I'm not encouraging the use of marijuana. I'm also not, you know, totally demonizing it, but I do have some very strong opinions regarding the substance from my own personal experience. And not just from my experience, but the experience of those around me, what I see around me, what I witness on a daily basis. I started by smoking weed because the thing for me is I have my moments where I leave it alone because my soul, like, my soul lets me know. My spirit guides let me know. The Most High, they let me know. And now I don't need nothing else to let me know. I know for myself. I pay attention to myself and I reflect over my life where there was an absence of marijuana use and when there was a presence of it. I pay attention to my own life because your life is supposed to be your greatest teacher. Your own life, your everyday experience and existence, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly is supposed to be your greatest and number one teacher. That's a problem for a lot of people too. We don't live in that manner. We want to hijack other people's bodies because of the work that they've done on themselves. And, we're witnessing them, experience blessings. And to us, it appears that they're breezing through life. When in actuality, you don't know the groundwork of that. You don't know the making of that individual. You don't know what it took for them to get to where they are. You don't know why they are blessed as such. And I've been in a position where a lot of people don't know the making of who I am, the groundwork that went into the cultivation of my mental capacity, of my spiritual capacity. It wasn't easy. I had to deal with a lot of challenges, a lot of struggles and attacks. I dealt and overcame a lot of trauma. And I don't regret a word. I don't regret any of it. I don't regret any of it. I don't. Because I love who I am, and I admire and reverence my strength, especially when I look at the world around me, especially people my age. I'm only 24 years old. And recently, I allowed that to discourage me to an extent. I'm not going to say fully, but to an extent. And I crave that socialization. But at the same time, noticing the lack of spiritual advancement and maturity, and just completely becoming turned off from the idea or notion of building and creating connections with individuals, because there's always a risk of that individual energy harvesting off of you, not putting in the work to clear their energy. You have to consider the people that they bind themselves to before they met you, before they come around to you, understanding that you're a divine being and you're a conduit. You're a conduit of bringing people to their karma, or for helping assist people, direct people to their transformations by them crossing you or disrespecting you in some manner, but representing judgment. So once again, that Aquarius, Libra and Gemini energy, that intellectual, mental energy, the energy of truth. Truth is something that's spoken. Truth is something that's experienced, Truth is something that's always there, and it always remains even when lies are at the forefront. So consider air. Air is always there. Air is always there. When it rains, when there's a fire, when it's hot, when it's cold, air is always there. And that is what we're moving into. This is the energy that we're going to be in for the next few decades. With that being said, divine beings, there's no more time for indecision, indecisiveness, going back and forth. Playing games with individuals who've already shown us who they are, who already shown us what they want for themselves, where they're going to stop, where their progress and where their spiritual mobility ceases. Do we need any further proof? We do not. We do not. We just really, like for the divine beings, I feel like for us, we just came out of a time where we recognize a lot of the signs, really finalizing the lessons like I mentioned previously, especially after the 12/12 portal. Finalizing lessons, we're realizing the trickery, tactics, and strategy of spiritual warfare. And our spiritual armor has now manifested to the physical. Whereas we were so easily penetrable. Our crowns, our emotional energy. We know now how to better protect ourselves, how to clear ourselves, how to guard ourselves, how to fend off attackers, how to reverse attacks. The strength card. Our hearts are strengthened. Our spirit bodies are strengthened. See, that's the thing. A lot of people spend most of their lives just immersed in one of their bodies. This is 2 wands. I don't even know why I did it, but the 10 of swords, Knight of Cups, and the 2 wands came out. So many people spend most of their lives in one or two or few of their bodies and don't even get to truly experience and evolve their entire selves. Once again, your emotional body, your physical body, your etheric body, all those things that we mentioned before. Personally speaking for myself, I have definitely experienced psychic fog. Whenever I'm channeling, reading tarot for myself, or like once I was doing reading tarot for a friend, and I noticed the pauses. The pauses were so long, and it was just hard for me to, even if I could see and hear the things in my mind, it was hard for me to speak. So I recognized the blockages or the debris in my crown, my throat chakra. I noticed, and I was still being attacked too, but a lot of that stuff I brought on myself from making myself vulnerable to those energies by overindulging in marijuana. I picked up smoking weed again while I was in school. I did, and not even paying attention, you know, to my emotion, like the way I debilitated my emotional body by doing so, and with my dealings with individuals, and, you know, being targeted because of my energy signature, and how I just literally weakened myself. How I weakened myself because I was overindulging in cannabis. I wasn't having dreams anymore. And when you think about it, if you're not really living your full spiritual experience, like you can tell you're actually a soul having a natural experience. Like when your soul is neglected and you're so wrapped up and living more so through the flesh, you're going to be more you're more susceptible to depression. You're more susceptible to mental distortion and lack of clarity, lack of tenacity and resilience. Emotional intelligence, patience, rationale. I found myself, I still finalize those lessons, but I found that I put myself in this energy. I put myself in this energy. Because of the temptation of wanting divine love manifested into the 3D. Longing for that. Because we are still humans. We still have human emotions that are necessary. And like I just said to someone earlier, we all experience them and they are necessary, you know, the emotional spectrum. But the difference between divine beings and karmics is what you do with that energy. That emotional energy, whether it's anger, depression, happiness, excitement, passion, whatever the case may be, whatever range of emotion, whatever it is, the difference is what you do with it, how you transmute it. Do you let it defeat you? Or do you transform that energy into something else? Because emotions means energy in motion. Energy in motion. So whatever emotion you experience, that energy is there. But what are you going to do with the energy? You can sit on that energy and it can begin to eat away at you, and it can begin to cause sickness and linger, you know, in your DNA, and you end up passing that on to your children, to your legacy, instead of defeating that generational karmic energy. You're feeling it for you to pay attention to it. If I take a knife and jab it, like if okay, there's a difference. There's a difference in a piece of lint. Me tossing a piece of lint on you to get your attention, than me taking a knife and just gently or jabbing you in your arm with it. So we feel these emotions, we experience these karmic cycles so that we'll actually do something about it. And sometimes it needs to hurt. Sometimes the pain needs to be intensified so that you can't ignore it, that you can't sweep it under the rug like so many of the people before us, our families, and the people who are still caught in these karmic cycles. Low vibrational ancestors or ancestors. Let me slow down. You have to feel it to acknowledge it. You have to feel it. You have to keep feeling it until you get rid of it. Until you finally do something about it so that you don't have to feel it no more. The fact of the matter is it worth holding you back from your full potential, from your greatest potential in this experience on earth? Is smoking, drinking, listen to toxic, low vibrational, degrading music, engaging in toxic behaviors, thought patterns? Is it worth it? Is the trade-off worth it? The things that we utilize these substances and these distractions, television, social media, sex, the irony of it all is that the very things we use to distract ourselves from our lack of fulfillment is what keeps us from that very fulfillment. Smoking weed multiple times a week stops me from having fucking dreams. When I'm reading my cards, there's so much fog. I can barely channel. I'm sitting here just and that's not good, and I don't like that. It's not attractive. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel honorable of my ancestors, of my vessel, of my soul, my star system, my life path. This is who I am. There's one thing to be a divine being, and you come here to experience Earth so that you may help uplift consciousness, help other people heal through their traumas and their past experiences and the general patterns and, you know, curses and stuff that they were bound to. It's one thing to come here and experience firsthand just so you can understand, just so there could be a common ground. But there's another thing to get trapped in that. We're not supposed to get trapped in that. Everybody is not strong enough to even experience it and come out of it, to actually transmute it and help people understand why it's just better to leave it alone altogether. Or it's not needed. Or healthy ways around using it. You know, moderation. And trying to prevent that dependency that we find a lot of our people falling into whenever it comes to marijuana, especially marijuana. And if not marijuana, then alcohol. If not alcohol, sex. With that being said, I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention. It's not it. It's not worth it. And kudos to all my divine sisters and brothers who have not been dabbling in alcohol and marijuana and stuff like that. All I'm saying is just be mindful. And I just wanted to share my testimony. And I'm grateful, you know, to be spared, redeemed, immune, you know, be granted immunity. And to be strong enough to, even though I was, you know, smoking weed or whatever, and the side effect for me was I wasn't able, you know, I wasn't as receptive. My psychic receptibility was affected. My dreams were affected. That was really the biggest thing. My throat chakra, but I know with my throat chakra, because see, I was also under attack. So I kind of used it as a stress reliever as well, like as I was getting through those last months of college. And not trying to make excuses for it, but you know, I'm not one who's I'm just totally oblivious. Like I'm fully aware of what I'm doing. So that's the difference as well. See, High Priestess, fully aware. Hierophant. The thing is, this is not the first time, and I understand the beauty and the opportunity to experience something firsthand, come out of it stronger than you was before, and then be able to share that testimony, that story with somebody else so that they don't have to experience firsthand. They can learn from your experience and bypass that so that they can reach whatever destination they're meant to reach in that moment of time, you know, instead of being prolonged or delayed. Let's say that, instead of it being delayed because of an unwise decision or choice. Or let's say not the best option available. Let's say that. All right. So I basically said everything I need to say about that. But yeah, just to definitely be conscious about that, especially moving into, I'm going to call it the age of Aquarius. But it's especially moving into this time of this air energy, you guys. Like, it's like get with it or get wiped out. It's that simple. Like, there's no more going off of what you look like, your materials, your money, your labels, your clothing labels, the brand, the clothing brands, what kind of car you drive, whether it's a Benz, you get into how big your house is, how many holes you got, like how much gold you got in your teeth, like how much silicone you got in your ass and your titties, in your mouth, your lips, how much weave, whatever, human, dog, horse hair you got in your head, how much mink animal, cause how much mink, chipmunk, deer hair you got sitting on your eyelids, how much, I don't know, crayon you got sitting on your face. None of that shit. All of that shit is about to be pushed to the back. We want to know what that mind do. What that mouth do as far as manifesting, as far as what you speak, how you utilize that magician energy, your spiritual energy, air energy. That's what we're moving into. So the beauty of it, though, is that the Divine Collective, or we're known as the Truth Tellers. We're used to being that person that's going to say what everybody else wants to say but does not say. We're used to being that person. So, in that case, you know, this is a celebration for us, you know? So, I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Oh, goodness. And it's literally a split. Like, it's a split. Oh, my God. It's a split down the middle. Wheel of Fortune. So, the first time when I showed you guys the Wheel of Fortune, when I split the cards in half to shuffle them again, y'all, it was the 10 of Swords. That's why I said it's literally going to be a split. The tares from the wheat. Those who are, you know, those who are so just shallow and watered down and artificial and inauthentic and just materialistic and just vain. Those vain individuals who are all about, you know, physical appearance and all that shit. They're going to be in the 10 of Swords. You reap what you sow. Those people who betrayed you, threw you under the bus, gaslighted you, energy harvested off of you, defamation of character, slander, just because they wanted to impress people, they wanted to appear to be like they was the shit, like they're the goddess because of what the fuck they can make themselves appear to be via physical additives. But nothing from, you know, within, you know. They relied on people focusing just on their outer appearance. And that was enough to get them by. And it really was for a lot of people. Mind you, we're moving out of the earth elements. Into the air. It wasn't cool to be smart. It wasn't cool to be real. But anyway, what I was going to say was that it was the Wheel of Fortune and 10 of Swords. And when I had shuffled again, it was the Wheel of Fortune and the Devil. Split. It's, oh my God. Judgment. That's the energy we're in right now. That's the energy we're in right now. I can't tell you, I can't stress enough how long I just felt like people who fucked me over, who did me wrong, family, ex-acquaintances and friends like that, when I was truly sincere and wanted the best for the individuals in the connection, like, or people fucked me over or threw me under the bus or, you know, slandered my name, like a ex-boyfriend or anything like that, or being assaulted, and wondering, like, why doesn't it seem like these people are getting their karma? Why does it seem like things are moving so slow for me? And it's all because the astrological transits. It was only a matter of time. Divine timing. Divine timing. And that's another thing I want to share, and I'll probably do another video on that. We need to take that more serious. I don't think we take the astrological transits in just how relevant it applies to our everyday life. Like how it has always applied to our everyday life. We don't take it serious enough, you guys. It'll do you some good to do the history and connect the dots. Because it's not a secret anymore. Listen to your intuition. See, it's time to tap into that intuitive energy. It's time to tap into your crown energy. You need to clear your crown so that your spiritual connection can be fluent to the spirit realm, so that your ancestors and your spirit guides can help and assist you on this journey to fulfill your purpose in this realm, to uplift consciousness. Every lesson that you went through and experienced leading up to now, all the betrayals, all the backstabbing, leaving you and cornering you, giving you no choice but to stand alone and be able to defend yourself and stand strong, regardless of the numbers, regardless of how frequent the attacks. You were being trained. You're being trained. Shout out to Professional High Priestess. That's my girl. Because we're stars. I like when she quote, "You're the only one to get the job done. You were made for this. You were made for this. You were made for this. You were being prepared for this moment, for this time." Oh my God, this is so exciting, y'all. This is so exciting, you guys. Truth. Age of Aquarius. This is so exciting. Oh my God. My grandfather is a Capricorn. He passed last year. There were some family members did some foul shit the last days of his life. Did some foul shit to me. Did some foul shit to me even before he was, you know, in his final days. But had the nerve to do something in his presence against me. Me and my grandfather have cried together. And another thing that I would share sometimes, I was really one of the main granddaughters whose name he remembered and didn't need to be reminded who I was. He remembered me. Because he's in his last days, he dealt with Alzheimer's. But my grandfather was not a vegetable. He was very aware and conscious, you know. But of course, you know, it was like in between, because you have to understand, you have your physical body and then you have your spiritual body. His spiritual body was on point. So don't mistake that. He's already been in some family members' dreams. He's come to assist family members home to the 5D. He's definitely been with me, protecting me. He's definitely been in my energy. He's definitely been in my energy. And like I said, my granddaddy is a Capricorn. Saturn rules Capricorn. With that being said, you already know what's going on. You already know what's up. Ancestors don't play. My ancestors don't play. Granddaddy definitely don't play. So. And then I'm an earth sign too. So it makes sense. It's like we always just had like a special unspoken connection. And it's because it was all spiritual. It was elemental. It was energetic. It was astrological. Our connection. And he was the only grandfather I got to physically experience in this lifetime. My other grandfather, he passed a few months before, you know, I was born. So I'm really grateful to know that my grandfather will always be in my life. He will always be in my energy faithfully, consistently. So, but yes, you guys, let's pull some cards to go with this message. And like I said, I got some amethyst in my singing bowl over there. Before I end the video, I'll bang it a few times. But I also got some amethyst right here, just to go along with, you know, the energy of the message, what we're talking about. So get all of that. No, seriously though. Where's the sunlight? It got away from me. And we got some laboradite, some psychic protection as well. And I got selenite and obsidian in the room for just that extra protection and purification. So anyway, let's pull a few cards just to verify the message that I had to share with you guys for today. Oh, and here's the selenite. So, please, divine and loving ancestors, I love you. Thank you so much for this, for joining me in this experience, for joining us in this experience. Thank you to the previous owners of this current home, who are now ancestors as well. Please, high, bright, loving, vibrational ancestors, you give us some messages for the divine collective that's watching this video, that's going to be viewing this video regarding the great conjunction and our crown energy, our crown chakra energy. Crown chakra energy. Crown chakra energy. The great conjunction. The great conjunction. Any messages regarding the great conjunction in the crown chakra? The crown chakra of the divine collective. Wow. Messages regarding the crown chakra and the great conjunction for the divine collective. Please, divine and loving ancestors. Divine and loving ancestors. Any messages regarding the great conjunction in Aquarius and the crown chakra for the divine collective. Any more messages regarding the great conjunction in Aquarius and the crown chakra of the divine collective. Yeah, I'm going to leave all those out. All right. So, let me show you guys the order of the cards that fell out. So, first card to fall out was the Lovers, the Gemini energy. And another thing about the Lovers energy, emotions, telepathy, a lot of mental energy, yes. And then we have the Emperor, Okay, I want to say that it was followed by the Nine of Wands, the Knight of Wands. Actually, the Knight of Wands came out after the Emperor, and then it was the Nine of Wands, I believe.